Now we're going to move in this week to what we call triangle congruency. We talked about congruency before. Congruency basically means that two figures have the same shape, same sides. Now we're going to be talking about triangle congruency. So obviously two triangles that are equal, same size. There are going to be some rules that do work. For today, we're going to be looking at two rules. We're going to call this SSS for side, 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 and then SAS for side, angle, side. Those are the two rules we're going to be looking at today. So let's take a look at our assignment. Our assignment, we first start here. I'm gonna be working questions 15 through 22, by the way. So I see here that says determine if the two triangles are congruent. And if they are, state how do you know? And I even wrote SSS or SAS to remind you side, 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 or side angle side. Now, interesting. Let me talk about this rule here. Let me talk about rule here. Let me use this space. Two triangles. And I'm gonna draw two triangles here. Again, this is just for me to explain. I'm gonna say these two triangles, according to the rule side, 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 is that these two triangles are gonna be congruent as long as the sides of one triangle are equal to the sides of the other triangle. So if the three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of the other triangle, then they are equal. They're the same shape, same size. For example, one triangle, the measurements are 5, 6, and 8. Then the other triangle should have the sides 5, 6, and 8. Notice that they don't have to be standing the same way. I'm just saying the three sides of one triangle are equal to the other side of the other triangle. Sometimes I will give you the numbers, which is easy to compare, 5, 6, and 8. Now, sometimes I will mark them instead. Instead of writing the number 5, I'm going to mark the side 5 with this other side the same way. So notice I do one slash. 6, I'm going to do two slashes on 6, and I'm going to do two slashes on 6 here. And then the 8, I'm going to go three slashes on 8 and three slashes here. So you should not see the numbers. Like I said, if I give you the numbers, it's easy to compare it. Sometimes I'm going to do it without the numbers. I'm just going to mark them the same way. But what I'm saying is with the slashes is the side that has one slash, it is equal to the other side. You may not know the values, but they're equal to each other. So that's the measure that rule side, side, side. Now the other rule that does work, it's called side, angle, side. There are other rules that do work, which we're going to discuss in the remaining of the week. But side, angle, side. Okay, it says these two triangles are going to be equal as long as two sides and the angle in between are equal. So two sides and the angle in between. Again, I can give you the measurements of the sides, or I can just mark them. So I can just say the two sides that I'm going to mark on one triangle are going to be these two. And the two sides I'm going to mark on the other angle are going to be these two. Notice I marked them the same way. So I'm saying they're equal. I can give you the numbers as well, just to show you that they're equal. But two sides and the angle in between. So it's not just any angle. It's the angle created by these two sides. So where do these two sides meet? Which corner do these two sides make? Well, in one triangle, I make this corner, and the other triangle, I make this corner. And that's what we're going to call the included angle. So two sides and the included angle. So it's not just any angle, it's the angle in between. Notice how for this rule, again, I use the markings. I can give you numbers. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this. There's two rules. There's two rules that we need to add because things are going to be marked. Sometimes directly, like we just saw right now, and sometimes indirectly. So what do I mean with indirectly? We talked about the vertical angle theorem before. Remember, what if I have two triangles that look like this? I know before we talk about the vertical angle theorem. Remember when we talk about parallels and the transversal, we talk about vertical angle, that it says when two angles create an X, opposite angles are equal. So I'm going to mark it in red. This angle and this angle, I might not know how big they are, but I know they're equal. So indirectly, when we see this, when we see an X form, we're going to say opposite angles are equal. So that's when things are given indirectly. So it's not marked, but I know they do exist. And then let's say I had another case where I had a triangle here, and then I had another triangle on the other side. They both happen to share a side. I'm going to put it in red. See, they both happen to share a side. When that happens, I can mark that side because the side that the triangle on the left, that side from the triangle on the left is equal to that side of the triangle on the right. Okay, when two triangles shared a side, I can mark it as indirectly. So remember, things are going to be given directly, so they're going to be marked. The only way they're given indirectly, the only way I can mark an angle that is not marked is if it follows the vertical angle theorem. The only way I can mark a side that is marked is if the two triangles share the side. The only way. Okay, so now let's take a look at our homework here. Let me come up here, looking at question number 15 from our notes. Determine if the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. Again, the only rules that work for today are side, 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 or side, angle, side. But wait a minute, I see a side here. This side is shared by both triangles. So that side is given indirectly. I'm going to mark it like this. You see how the triangle on the left, let me highlight the three markings on the triangle on the left. You see how the three sides were marked? You see the same three markings on the other triangle? I say yes, we do see it. So I'm gonna complete this with side, side, side. If you complete this with a rule that does work, you're basically telling me these two triangles are congruent. That's all I need to do. It does do side, side, side. Awesome. Let's take a look at number 16. I see sides, I see these two sides, and I see the same markings on the other triangle. Okay, so there's two sides given. Two sides of one triangle are equal to two sides of the other triangle. And then I see this angle here, which is the given angle. I mean, the included angle, right? The given angle is the included angle. And what do I mean with included angle? This side and this other side, the two sides that were marked, that's where they meet, right? If I look at here, this side with this side, which side is they meet? That angle. So it is the included angle. I have two sides and the angle in between. So that's an example of side, angle, side. Now, for things to work for today, it's either side, side, side or side, angle, side. Sometimes they will not work. What do I mean with that? Okay, let's come up with another example here. Let's say I have these two triangles here. And I say this side is equal to this side is equal to this side. I'm going to say this angle is equal to this angle. Okay. See how on the left side, so I'm trying to confuse you with side angle side. Notice how on the triangle on the left, the angle that I mark, it is the included angle because it's the angle where these two sides meet. But you see how the other triangle is not the same angle? I mark a different angle, try to confuse you. When that happens, when I didn't mark them correctly, my answer for this would be not congruent. Gonna be like this. Not congruent. Notice I capitalized the letter N for not. And make sure you spell congruent. You forget how to spell congruent, it's in your instructions. When it says determine if the two triangles are congruent, well, there it is. There's the word congruent. So it's either, for today, it's either side, 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 angle, side, or not congruent. Let's take a look at example 17 and 18. Determine whether triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. Note that triangles are not drawn to scale. So here, I'm given the sides. and some angles. Okay, I see here's a side 5 with this side. So gonna mark them the same way. I see this side is 24. I'm gonna mark it with this 24. And then this 28 is equal to this 28. Okay, three sides of one triangle are equal to three sides of the other triangle. Well, that's side, side, side. How about number 18? This side is 20 and this other side is 20. So they're equal. This side, second side is 26. This second side is 26. I'm marking them the same way because they're equal. This angle right here is 72 degrees with this 72 degrees. It looks like in both triangles, I have two sides and the included angle. Isn't that two sides and the angle in between? Isn't that one of the rules that we saw? Side angle side. So in reality, questions 15 through 18 are the same thing. It's just that on 15 and 16, I just marked it just with slashes and arcs. Question 17 and 18, I gave you numbers. It is the same thing though. Some cases you will run into not congruent, so make sure you do write not congruent. But I said I was gonna work up until 22. All right, let me flip the page then. Let me flip the page. Let me take a look at questions 19 through 22. This is a continuation of our homework. Again, we're going to be looking at side, 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 and side angle side. Here, state what additional information is required in order to know that triangles are congruent for the reason given. So here, I'm looking at things given directly and things given indirectly. What I mean with indirectly is, can you mark an angle in a side that is not marked? Remember, angle, you can mark it if it vertical angle theorem, if two angles make an X. Sides, you can mark in this case this side because it is shared by both triangles. Now here, the instruction says what additional information is required. So I'm not asking whether it is congruent or not congruent. I am saying I want it to be congruent, but there's one marking that I'm missing. I want this to follow the idea of side, side, side. I want this to follow the idea of side, side, side. So I'm saying I'm missing one marking from each triangle. What is it? Well, I know I have to mark all three sides, right? If I look at the triangle on the top, the one side that I'm missing that is not marked is this side. When I look at the triangle at the bottom, the one side that I'm missing is this side. So my question here was, what am I missing, right? What additional information is required? So basically, what am I missing? Well, the side JK, so I'm going to type in JK is equal to the side IY. All capital letters, no spaces, all together. That's what you got to type in. JK is equal to IY. Good. I do have an equal part there, so I'm just going to ask you to fill in the other two parts, but that's really what I'm at. What I'm asking is, what are you missing? So let's take a look at number 20. First, I ask myself indirectly, can I mark a side and an angle that are not given? Remember, I can mark a side if the two triangles share it, like I did in number 19. I can mark an angle if the two angles make an X. Well, neither of those cases happen to be here. Okay. So now I need this to be side angle side. Okay, side angle side isn't that two sides in the included angle, the angle where the two sides meet. I see that I already have the two sides marked. Okay, so the two sides are given. So what I'm missing is the angle. Okay, the included angle. So where do those two sides meet? Well, in one triangle, it will be this corner, and the other triangle will be this corner. Okay. Now, I know I talked to you before the beginning of the unit. I talked to you guys last week that some cases we use lazy ways to name angles, and sometimes we use the actual name. This is the case when sometimes it's not going to work. So I'll mention later why it does not work. I'll actually mention in question number 21. But let's say I look at number 20. I'm gonna label the two angles that I'm missing. I'm gonna use the whole name. I'm gonna call one angle HIJ, because remember I'm using all three letters, leaving I in the center. And this is equal to the angle. I'm gonna use all three letters, leaving X in the center. So I'm gonna call it WXY, all capital letters. Some of you might be like, what if I type in the other way? What if I type in WXY first and HIJ second? You're fine. You're fine. Canvas is going to consider fine and it's going to mark you correct either way. Okay. Now let's take a look at number 21. Anything's indirectly. I think I see that side EF. You guys see the side EF is used by both triangles? So I can mark that side, because side EF from one triangle is equal to the side EF of the other triangle. It is the same side, so that's why I know that it's equal. I need this to be side angle side. So two sides and the included angle. When I look at the triangle on the top, so I'm looking at this triangle, the included angle is this angle right here. When I'm looking at the triangle on the top, the included angle is this angle right here. Remember, included angle means the angle where the two sides meet, the two sides that are marked. Okay. So here, what I'm missing are the angles. Like you guys see, I label them in blue. Lazy way. Lazy way will be angle F is equal to angle E. But then I mentioned sometimes the lazy way doesn't work. And is one of those cases. Because when I'm looking at corner F, my question is, which F are you looking at? Are you looking at that corner F? I'm gonna go, let's see, green. Are you looking at that F? Are you looking at this F? Are you looking at this F? Which corner F are you looking at? When there's multiple corners, multiple angles, I'm gonna say multiple angles at one corner, the lazy way doesn't work, because then I don't know which F are you looking at. So in order to avoid this, I have to give the proper name. The lazy way doesn't work because there are multiple angles at that corner. So yeah, I mean this corner. So in this case, I'm gonna use the three letters of that triangle, leaving F in the center. So I'm gonna call this NFE. And then for the other triangle, I'm gonna call it DEF. So the lazy way doesn't work when there's multiple angles at one corner. Good. Let's take a look at number 22. Indirectly, can I mark a side or angle that is not marked? In this case, yes. I can say that this angle right here is equal to this angle right here. I have no idea how big they are. I just know they're equal because they form an X. Opposite angles are equal to each other. That's what vertical angle theorem says. So that is given indirectly. So I have two markings on each triangle now. And I want this to be side angle side. Two sides and the included angle. So when I'm looking at the triangle on the left, I'm supposed to have two sides and the included angle. We already have the angle marked, so I don't need another angle. I only see one side marked, so I need two sides. But remember the included angle. So let me ask you this. Can I mark this side? Is this the side that we need? Well, if that was the side that we need, the included angle is here. Because it's the angle, included angle is the angle where the two sides meet. No, that would not be good. So no, that's not the side that I need. I actually need this side, because the angle that is marked is the included angle, right? The angle where the two sides meet. But my other triangle, the side that I need is this one. So that way I'm going to complete this. I remember for sides, you use two letters. So I'm looking at this triangle on the left, or this one up here. The side that I said I'm missing is the side HI, is equal to, on the other side, the side that I'm missing is the side I am. Remember, for sides, you need two letters. Notice how that's what I did on number 19 and 22. For sides, you need two letters. For angles, three letters. Sometimes you can get away with the lazy way. Sometimes you cannot. But if you use three letters always, psh, that's fine. You will if it's the angle that if you type in the angle correctly, then it will be marked correct.